A lot of people who get in the F&B business, they think it's a good money-making business, and they quickly find out it isn't it?
We are incredibly lucky. I think every business is challenging.
Okay.
They are just challenging in different ways.
I had no agenda to fall in love with coffee, but just one experience changed my life.
If that's your only cup of coffee a day, I can't imagine how disappointed you will be if that cup is not good.
So it's not about earning money and selling all the cups. It's not about how do we do better. A business that can last more than 10 years is a business that is doing better than 90% who failed in the first 5 years, okay? For me, it's so frustrating to pay 35 ringgit for people reheating stuff.
I totally feel you, I hate that.
It's so annoying. People don't come back for okay food. They don't come back for good food. They come back for great food.
Yeah. The last one star that we got, the comment was, sorry, the one star I got, oh, this place got no parking, don't come. Then he didn't even go in and eat. It's just like
he didn't even go in.
And the funny thing is, the mall got no parking. You give me 1 star. Why?
If there's one word to describe the food and beverage industry, like sort of to capture why you pick food and beverage industry as something you want to do.
One word to describe the F&B industry as a whole. The first word that popped in my mind is.
Hey guys, welcome to Keep It 100 Talks. And the reason I created this podcast, this talk, is because I believe conversations have such a great way to influence our life. There might be a conversation that you're listening in, or maybe somebody that you're talking to. And in those moments, something in that conversation triggered an inspiration, triggered a whole new set of actions, decisions that open up a whole new path for your life. It's like a little window that opens up to a whole new world. So I want to bring those meaningful conversations in a podcast like this. So we bring in people who are willing to share their journey, share their mindset, share their thoughts and knowledge, revolving topics around mindset, money, and lifestyle. So with that, I got a favor to ask as well. If you ever find value in these conversations, please do us a big favor by subscribing to the channel and also sharing with your friends. Because I believe the larger the podcast grows, we're able to get more people onto this channel to provide you more value. All right, so thanks for watching this episode. And let's keep it 100, let's keep it real. Let's have some really good conversations in Keep It 100 Talks.
Hey guys, welcome back to Keep It 100 Talks. And today we got a very interesting topic, a topic that I feel very passionate about. And some of you may or may not know, I've actually studied culinary arts and hospitality management. And I always have a lot of respect for restaurants and cafe owners that do really, really well. And Bean Brothers is one of it that I really enjoy. Although it's sometimes an hour away, I'll just drive all the way here.
Oh wow, thank you.
To get food and get coffee.
Okay.
Right? And then you got great people like KK and Ben. I really enjoy their service and all.
Thank you.
But what I really, respect about this industry is that it's such a demanding business. It demands, in my opinion, it demands your presence, it demands your time, it demands your attention, right? And there's so many, F&B outlets that come out and down over the last few years. Some survive, some don't. But what really makes a successful, or rather a good F&B business? Now, because a lot of people look at a restaurant and say it's food, they drink coffee, whatsoever, but I think there's a lot more behind that. Right? And how do you guys beat the odds? Because you guys been around for more than 10 years. Right? Okay. You guys have 7 outlets in Korea, right? Yeah. 4 outlets here. Yes. And then you guys roast beans for 500 plus wholesales, right? Account, yeah. So I'm so happy to bring Keith on board today, the co-founder of Bean Brothers, and then all the whole thing behind this. And to have a little chat, right? Okay. So how are you doing, man?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. Yeah. Really. So you're just saying that I don't think actually we are doing really, really well. In fact, I think we're just doing okay. And I think this is more like sharing my personal experience throughout the years and then with the business with Bean Brothers and all. So I think happy to be here.
You have something that I think most entrepreneurs and people can relate to. Sometimes we were actually doing something and we always sort of like take away credit from ourselves. But okay, I'm going to tell you, I don't know the whole business in and out. But here's one thing I know. A business that can last more than 10 years is a business that is doing better than 90% who failed in the first 5 years, okay? So I think you got to, if you don't want to give yourself, I'll give you credit. Right.
We are incredibly lucky. That could be one of it. Yeah.
But I think from my experience in your restaurants, and if you guys ever come to Bean Brothers, I think it's more than just luck, but I'm sure there's so much to learn. But I'm like you sometimes. I feel like, I cannot give myself so much credit. So it's very normal.
Yeah. So I think when we, like at least for me, when I do business, I think it's a lot more about two different kind of segment that I try to put myself into. There will be different shoes that we have to get into sometimes. So when we are leading a company, we are always looking for, at the beginning, it's all about survivability. You need to survive in the market first, and then you talk about growth, and then only you talk about longevity. So that's where we want to build a business that not only, it's not just about profit in the very beginning all the while, but it's about building a thing that can last the test of time. So, and then something that actually contributes, or something that is meaningful to the people around us, around me, for example. So I think that's actually very important. Then only we talk about managing a company. So that is a ratio that even today, we are still, I'm still struggling to like, okay, at this point of time, how much company leading I should do, how much company managing I should do, and then how do we, for example, how do you manage a team and how do you lead a team? I think this is a different category, and then when it versus to how do you manage a company and how do you lead a company. So that's something that we're, how do I say, struggling or surviving or trying to adapt, changing. It's an ever-changing thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's really healthy, and I can relate to you as an entrepreneur. There is that challenge too, right? From creating to managing to leading, right? And it's an ongoing thing, right? But one thing you said that is very interesting is that, it's not, your primary purpose of the business wasn't about profits, and I find that a lot of businesses that succeed, that do well, have a good reputation in the industry, are businesses that didn't focus on profit, and rather they focus on the value they provide. So you say like the value you provide for your employees, for value you provide for your partners, for your for your customers, and therefore profit becomes something that comes out of the value. And I think this is just my suspicion. A lot of people who get in the F&B business, they think it's a good money making business, and they quickly find out it isn't it? There's so many things going on, right?
The thing about F&B business is I can't say that, I wouldn't say it's a very challenging business.
Yeah.
I think every business is challenging.
Okay.
They are just challenging in different ways. The reason, I personally think the reason that why we see a lot of F&B business go up and down is just simply because there are a lot more people doing F&B business compared to other businesses. So for example, if I were to open a law firm, I need to know something about law. I have to be a lawyer. I will go study for it. If I'm going to open a clinic, I will be a doctor or something related to it. But then if I were to open an F&B, I could just, okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
So that's like a different, so there will be more people doing it. So it's just a volume game. So you see more, you feel that there's more. But in fact, I think every business is equally difficult. So you still have to do the business.
I think it's
you do
because
the
people
managing.
think that it's a low barrier of entry. I don't need a qualification to start an F&B business, right?
You learn as you go.
Learn as you go.
You learn as you go.
So, if there's one word to describe, it is more about you, right? And and for my audience, you may think I'm a car lover. Yes, I am. But I'm a foodie too. I like good food. I like good coffee. I always think there's a soul in how a business is created. So I want to just interview Keith a little bit more to understand how he thinks, right? So, if there's one word to describe the food and beverage industry, what is one word, and what sort of to capture why you picked food and beverage industry as something you want to do?
Why I pick?
Or what's the one word to describe?
What's the one word to describe? I can't use one word to describe the F&B industry as a whole.
Yeah.
But I think I can use one word to describe me for picking F&B industry to go into. I think that's pretty much the first word that popped into my mind is naive.
I was like, ooh, going to be like passion, inspiration, legacy, right?
It's really naive. I think I don't even remember why I actually started doing this and all.
Really?
So there is no logical reason to it. And then now that I think back, wow, that's very naive. And then,
how did you guys get started?
I think we just wanted to do coffee, and then at that point of time, I think 10 years ago, Malaysia coffee industry is maybe 10, 15 years ago, it's still pretty young. And then I got in touch with some friends in Korea, and then we wanted to do something together, and they started this online coffee subscription thing. So I think I want to try this in a different narration, different angle.
Yeah.
It's more like the coffee that we served in the very beginning, 10 years ago, it's not as, how do I say, widely available as possible. So it is this moment where I have a really good cup of coffee. I had that kind of moment.
Where was it? Is it?
It's actually in Seoul.
In Seoul?
Because I mean, this kind of movement is not something that when you want, you just come. It has to, like, you need to be in the right place, you need to be in the right time, you need to be in the right environment. You yourself have to, like, okay, suddenly it just came. So at that point, it was like during winter in a cafe.
Take me there. Like, imagine if I'm just like an invisible person.
I'm just walking around alone around Seoul.
And you have no agenda to have coffee.
No. Actually, I was visiting cafes, but then it was quite random.
Not a business thing.
No, not really. Just okay. I want to see what this cafe thing is all about.
Yeah.
What is good coffee thing? So I got like recommendations from friends, and I visited this cafe. And then it's winter time. It's snowing, and then I'm like, what, cold and shit. And then I walked by. I saw a cafe. I went to that place, and then it was like underground, I think, in a below ground level in Seoul. And then I went in. I ordered a cup of latte, and then I think I had the best cup of coffee in my life.
Wow.
Even until today. So I think it's that kind of experience that inspired me a lot, or inspired the people around us a lot, to really go into coffee business, to really share that kind of experience that we had to the people around us. So that's actually just one thing that we do. So when you ask like, how do we start being brothers and stuff, I think it all revolves around how do we want to share this experience. So when we first started, we do, okay, single origin coffee lah.
Yeah.
And after we do single origin coffee a bit insufficient, then we were like, oh, this coffee, we can touch quite a lot of people enjoy it, in fact. So we have like pretty good response. Then, okay, let's do a physical shop. And then Seoul team did a cafe in a warehouse, and then we did one in PJ here. And then,
Is it this shop? This very shop?
Yeah, this very shop. Because at that point of time, can you imagine this shop, the location that we are at, we are kind of like out
Your
of
factory,
the,
right?
Yeah, out of the commercial area. You have to drive in like 5-10 minutes, and
Yeah.
then it's like the only shop around the neighborhood. So it's like a destination place, a place that we actually, you visit, that you know that it serves coffee, and then hopefully it serves good coffee. So that's something that people had in mind when they come, and then when they reach the place, then we want to provide that kind of experience, the coffee experience, not just in the cup, but outside the cup, everything in the home.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice.
so that's
and
how-
definitely it's an experience here. And people love, I can see a lot of people love coming back here. I see some familiar faces all the time, yeah.
Yeah. I think, that's actually nice. We make a lot of new friends from the cafe business as
Yeah.
well. So that's actually something really, really nice. Sharing something that you love to the people around you, then you enjoy doing it better. Like 3 years ago, that's how our coffee is. Another 3 years, that's how our coffee is. As the business grows, you get more resources. But then when you get more resources, how do you improve the coffee that you're doing? So how do you roast better? How do you brew better? How do you extract better? Can you get better machines, or do you get better skill? Do you keep upgrading or your knowledge on coffee? Are you really on date? So what happened like 2 months ago? Is there any new tech or new style or new technique or new knowledge that comes into coffee? Are we really up to date? Are we really doing this for the people around us, for the customers per se? So this is all very important to us.
Yeah, it is. You can see that you completely lit up talking about the ability to share what you love with people. And it seems like there's this, you enjoy learning about coffee, enjoy learning about things, and it's really coming across when I'm talking to you, completely lit up, right? And I can relate to your coffee experience. I'm like you, where coffee for me was just caffeine, right? It was just like, back in the days, coffee for me is just a source of energy, caffeine, just to get my day started or get my midday started. But it was a moment in time when I went to Australia, in Melbourne, and then my friend, she studied in Melbourne, and she gave me a list of coffee. So there I was really like innocent like you, right? And I'm like, okay lah, since my hotel check-in is at like 12 o'clock, right? So I dragged my big ass luggage, because I was there for like, I think like 12 days. I was going to help my mentor run some trainings and stuff. So I got this big ass luggage, I was dragging my luggage. I said, hey, not too far, right? No, I can walk to this cafe called Brother Babudan, right?
Baba Budan, yeah.
Yeah, it's a little like it's in a small road. Alley, right?
Yeah,
It's a one-way alley.
Very
into
small
road.
shop.
You can only fit like small cars and small vans. It's like a hole in the wall. And I was saying, it's like 6 or 7 in the morning. There's so many Aussies there. Like, what the hell is this shop, right? So I went inside there. Smelled nice. And then I drank my long black as usual. I was like, wow. Where is this acidity coming from? Where is this savory coming from? Like after I drank, the palate was filled with savory at the end. I'm like,
Lit up.
yeah, I'm just like, this is not coffee, right? This is not how coffee
Something
is.
else. It's just something else.
Yeah. So I talked to the barista. I said, "Could you give me a latte?" And I drank it. I was like, wow, different experience all again. Then I started to Google up and went to League of Extraordinary Coffee, Honest Coffee, you know, and Manchester Press, went to a couple of places. And that's when I realized that coffee is so exciting, right? So just like you, I could relate to the experience where I had no agenda to fall in love with coffee, but just one experience changed my life. And I think it's something very interesting about being open to try something new, right? So I can see what you mean by naive, right? But I also see there's a lot of passion in what you do, right? In wanting to improve. Like, so it's not about earning money and selling all the cups. It's not about like, how do we do better, right? So how do you think that's important in your business? Or you think in business in general? Do you think it's important that we place that in the forefront, like that wanting to improve, wanting to?
I think that's the number one quality that every one of us, even within the team, is actually it is the number one thing that I look for. Whether you are willing to learn and you can learn, and your adaptability, how passionate are you not on the business, not on coffee, but how passionate are you on improving, on getting better on things. So just now we were saying, like, when we if you run a business, you run it for growth, you run it for longevity. But then when it comes to managing a business, it's a different story. It's all about efficiency. It's all about when efficiency is where you need to squeeze every ounce, where you maximize the value that you get. For example, I put in this effort, I have to get this result. So that's the efficiency that we're looking for. So let's say if I'm having this cup of coffee, it has this quality. It can be a 100-point coffee. So I expect it to float around there. I don't want it to be like 70, 80. So this is where consistency comes across. So consistency is actually a big key within Bean Brothers ourselves. We want, because I think it's different for us, as a consumer and for customers. For me, myself, I can't consume too much caffeine in a long period of time. I mean, when I have to drink like 10 cups a day, it's fine. But then there will be seasons. There will be seasons where I drink a lot, and there will be seasons where I don't drink coffee at all. But then coming back to that is that what I'm trying to say is, a lot of people, you only drink 1, 2, 3 cups a day, and then when you go to a cafe, if that's your only cup of the coffee a day, I can't imagine how disappointed you will be if that cup is not good. So that is actually very, very important to me personally. I think consumer first, business second. So I always put our team as a consumer first. If you're a consumer, then what would you feel? How would you feel if this is the kind of
So meaning to
coffee
say,
you get a day?
a lot of the conversations you drive with your team is asking them, if you are the consumer,
Yes.
how would you feel?
Yes.
Wow.
This is actually very, very important. Because as a barista, you might not feel it. Or when we are looking at numbers and spreadsheets, we might not feel it. We sell about 300, 600 cups of coffee a day. What's 1, 2 cup, right? But then that could be a very small thing to us. But then for the consumer, that's their only cup that day. So that is something very big to them. So I want that view. I want that perspective. So areas to improve. When we start doing coffee, I tell you. Coffee is an art. It can be an art. I mean, when you get into brewing coffee, So how you do extraction, what kind of coffee that you use.
Grind size, etc.
Yeah, grind size, water temperature, brewing equipment,
Yeah.
and then immersion or percolation, and then the cup, material, and then how you brew, your technique, the equipment, the machine that you use, the type of bean that you choose, the process of the coffee. Everything comes into play. So this kind of thing, even I've been doing it for 10 years, I feel like, I haven't learned shit.
You're
I'm
very
still learning.
I notice people who do very well, they are good at something, but they know that they always improve. There's a sort of humility about it, and not really like a attachment to how good I am, right?
That's the thing. For me, I always go like, I want to have the kind of experience that when I look back 2 months ago, I do that still. When I look back at the 2 months ago me, I'll go like, what were you doing? That's a terrible idea. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
Why would you do it that way? What were you thinking? Oh my God.
Something you mentioned very interesting, because I got a question about consistency. And one thing that bugs me about F&B business, because I also studied, and some restaurants have really good food sometimes, and sometimes you go back, it's like, what happened to that? or sometimes you come back a year later, some of them they open 2, 3 branches, and the food just not only slightly reduced in quality, it's like completely gone down the drain. Like the quality is like the bread becomes soggy and the coffee become bitter, right? And no, 1 year ago they used to be so great and they expand and then they drop. So you answered the question a little bit, where I think what really drives for me, because every time I come back to Bean Brothers, whether it's here or it's in Link, the food's really consistent in a sense where every time I order, it's either better or the same as last time, right?
Okay.
Right?
But we have a good chef.
A good chef, right?
We have a good chef.
But I noticed what you just said. You just gave the answer there. You ask your staff all the time, if this is your food, would you be okay? And I think a lot of people do their work, right? Like, oh, this is my job, A to Z, I complete and I walk away. But if you put everyone in the other direction, I think it's important not just in F&B, whether you're doing marketing, you're doing sales, right? You create a content for marketing. Like I think what makes a great marketer is also thinking, how would my audience feel like when you see this, collateral, or when they see this video? What would evoke, rather than just doing an A to Z and finish my job, right? So, and I think it really shows, because I see your staff work and they cook. Okay, maybe you can dispel the myth for people, and maybe for me too. If you follow a recipe to cook something, just follow A to Z. But without this mentality that if this is my food, will I eat it? Do you think they are able to produce, good tasting food, or would it be great, or would it be just like average, or what's the difference between Okay, I think the question is, what's the difference between somebody who just followed the recipe, or somebody who follows the recipe and put the mindset that if I'm the consumer, how would it taste?
That, to me, is the difference between good and great. So if you can have, companies do it, you make SOPs all the time.
Yep.
It is unavoidable when you are scaling. So this is a fact. So you can't have 100 great chefs all the time. So you might need like maybe 10 great chefs and then 90 good chefs.
Yeah.
So for the 10 great chefs, you will need to think, okay, what kind of SOP or what kind of formula that I can do to minimize the inconsistency, minimize the lower boundary of what we can serve. So it is the standard that the leaders set in the kitchen. It is the standard that that your team set for themselves. So this is actually something. So let's say, I think good, still good, but then it depends on how much effort you put into doing the recipe even. So SOP can be a lot of different SOP. I can tell you to fry for 2 minutes, for example. But then I can also detail the SOP. You have to fry between 1 minute 50 seconds to 2 minute 20 seconds, and then it has to turn brown. You need to see bubble. It needs to have certain color. Then it's done. Same recipe, different kind of communicating it. It depends on the leader as well. If I'm lazy, I'm just gonna fry for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And then if I'm really passionate, I'm gonna be like, this is what I want. This is how it should look like, and this is what you should do, and I'll be checking it all the time. So that's the difference between a good SOP, bad SOP. There's also a difference between good food and great food to me. So that's something that we try to emulate.
Yeah, I think that's very important, because because I'm also, again, I have a bias because I used to work in the kitchen a little bit as my training. I used to talk to a lot of people who run restaurants, and I can really taste whether the food is cooked with care or passion, or when it's none. Right? You can immediately taste it. So I don't know about you guys in the audience, but sometimes you look at the food, like you eat it, it's like, okay, it's good, right? I won't name chains, right? Okay. There's some chains that are local chains, and they're good, right? They produce Aussie, kind of like brunch kind of food, and then you eat it, it's like you won't complain.
No soul,
right?
Bland.
Yeah, but
sometimes.
Sometimes it's okay. But you wouldn't look forward to eat it again, right? And the ones that you always look forward to eat again are the ones that go in excellent. Means like they go above and beyond. The seasonings on spot, right? And I think it's when the owner cares, or when the leader cares, whether it's the kitchen leader, whether it's the owner, as long as there's a care there, then there's keeping a standard high, right?
Exactly. Someone has to really care about the things that they do.
Yeah.
So the more people they are, the more of this kind of people there are in the team, the better you will do.
Yeah.
Can
I tell you a little confession about F&B?
F&B?
Right? About F&B business. I'm really upset at F&B outlets who think that, you know what? I see this shop, I see Bean Brother, they charge this much for this food, and they charge this much for this coffee. You know, let me go sit down with my friends and let's build a business. And then they launch a coffee shop and they come up with a ROI, blah, 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 get investors, everything. And then the food, right, comes out like you pay 35 ringgit for a burger. Nothing wrong with it, like, I don't mind. But then it comes out, it's like, and then you come back another 6 months, from good become worse. You know, sometimes they reheat stuff. I hate like reheating stuff. Like when I say why I hate it is because, you know, in order to cook food well, I believe one of the fundamentals is to cook it fresh, like a la minute, right? But to do a la minute means you have to care about cost control. You got to care about, you know, getting the right portions out. Care about predicting, you know, all this is so much very mafan, right? To make it cheaper and more consistent, you know, they reheat. And it's so, for me, it's so frustrating to pay 35 ringgit for people reheating stuff, right?
I totally feel you. I hate that.
It's so annoying because, you know, it's not just money, right? It's like, yeah, people pay the money, number one. And I feel there's no honor in that, you know. Sorry, this is my opinion, right? I don't mean to like attack. This is my personal opinion, you know. It's like you said, maybe for some people, the 35 ringgit is like their treat for this month. They work so hard this whole week, and they say they take their family out for a food, and they want to give a good experience. And then people squander it by thinking, oh, I can just make money, right? So that's my opinion.
I agree with that. I totally agree with that. It's in fact, it's not fair to the people that are actually doing it really hard. The people that are honestly trying to make something out of it, honestly trying to make good food. It's not fair for this kind of people, for this group of people. So yeah. So I totally resonate that.
Yeah. Part of the frustration is that, you know, they some restaurants, are not saying all, they open up a restaurant, they can see this is how much you can make, and blah blah blah. And then they do a very nice setup, they spend a lot of money on renovation, and they invite all the influencers to come and they get the hype up, right? And then after like 6 months, the business starts going away. And then some of them, you know, I know some of them, they say, oh, what is happening? And I say, the problem is the food is okay. The food is not bad, but it's okay.
Okay.
And in my opinion, people don't come back for okay food. They don't come back for good food. They come back for great food.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Especially in F&B when it's so competitive, there are a lot of people. I mean, if you don't even talk about good ones, there are a lot of new ones.
Yes.
There are a lot of new ones every day. So if you're only doing okay, people would rather give opportunity to the newer ones than going back for the okay food. That's how I think.
And that's why you have this thing that you not just good, you have to go to great.
Yes.
There's a book from John C. Maxwell says from good to great.
Good to great.
So that's the kind of philosophy you
love
run.
that term.
Nice.
Because I always, even for coffee, I personally think it's easy. In fact, it is easy to make a good cup of coffee. It's really not that complicated. I can train a barista within a week and he can do a decent, good cup of coffee. But then for that good cup of coffee to be a great cup of coffee, it might take years.
And more than just SOPs.
That is the difference. Yes, there's like a really big difference between that gap. So yeah, that's how it is.
And that's why even though I have a good coffee machine at home and a good grinder at home, I still go out and enjoy a good coffee from good baristas.
Are you sure?
Right?
Or it's for the convenience?
Yeah, at first I was thinking maybe if I have my coffee machine, I'll stop going to the coffee shops to save money, right? I do the calculation. I'm like, okay. But ends up what happening is I actually spend more money because I enjoy it. But you know, I want to bring up this topic because I guess for me, I'm a bit biased, as earlier I said. I'm frustrated because for some people, that 35 ringgit or 40 ringgit is their only date they will get this week with this person. Maybe it's their only time they take their family out after a long month of hard work. They want to reward their family, they want to enjoy themselves. Reheating, they reheat baked beans. Like, how can they dare to reheat baked beans, right?
Okay.
It's so, it's like, where's the care? Like, how do you care if this goes onto your plate when you pay 35 ringgit? So it angers me, but it also is really, I think I want the audience to know that's why I meant it's not just I'm a food snob. A lot of people think that because, Thomas, it's not. It's just, you know, it's like you can be like going to a doctor, right? Whether the doctor do the work because, this, blah, 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 right? Or the doctor really cared, like, you know, because end of the day, you know, you take your daughter to a doctor, you want a doctor to take care of your daughter.
Yes, to actually pay attention.
Yeah.
To actually really genuinely want to know, want to help. So that kind of vibe I think is similar to restaurant.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I think when restaurant owners or the leaders in the or the managers or whoever stop caring, I think these symptoms will start to show. You know, and one of my favorite coffee chains or coffee shop I used to go to, one of my favorite dish from them was a deep fried chicken. You know, and I fell in love with it. I always order that after workout, everything, and I can always try others. I keep going back to that shop because it's so nice. But there was a moment they started to expand to many outlets, and I had one time, the accompanying waffle was cold.
Okay.
Yeah, I forgive it. The second time I went,
chance, okay.
both the chicken and the waffle was
no,
not say
okay.
cold, but it was the waffle was cold, but the chicken was soggy, right? So it wasn't the way I always wanted. It was not a cheap chicken. I was like I think 30 plus ringgit for a few little nuggets of chicken, which I didn't mind, but it made me never want to order their food again.
Well, I think this kind of situation or this kind of restaurant, F&B, or even business, over time it will show. Because I feel as a consumer, every time we spend money, we are voting for the world that we want. So I think that's a very, very important thing to keep in mind even when we are doing things. So every time I pay for something, I'm actually voting for something. So this is how I want it to be. So this is what I'm willing to pay for it. And again and again and again. So everyone will have their preference. So I think that's how it's like.
You have a very consumer-driven point of view, and I think that's really cool. It really shapes what I think what Bean Brothers are, and you can see that continuous drive because you put yourself in the consumer. So really, thank you for doing it. You know, thank you for being.
I want good coffee.
Yeah. and I think I'm so honored to be able to talk to you because to be able to share this interview with you because like I said earlier, I have a lot of respect for great F&B owners and. I always feel there's a passion and a care behind. So it's very nice to review this, right?
There's a lot more other people like this.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So Keith, how do you keep up your passion? It's F&B business that does well, requires a lot of time, energy, and also passion, care. So how do you keep up with such a demanding business? Maybe you walk me through a day of your life. Let's say if I'm a invisible fly or something following your day. How does it look like from the morning to night?
Sorry, you wanted to give me 2 minutes because I got something for this. It just escaped me for a bit. I need to come back to it. Just give me 2 minutes.
You need a coffee? Or?
Yeah, maybe I ran out of coffee. What was the question again?
So the question was, we will edit, right?
Yeah.
How's a day in the life for you? Because for me, it's like F&B business is such a demanding, in not just time, energy, but also requires passion and care. So how is it like for you? Let's say a normal day for you, from day to night, from the moment you wake up to you.
I have this framework that I use for myself. So it's really not a lot about. I mean, what you're trying to ask, maybe it's like a work-life balance thing, or how I manage my time and stuff like that. To me, a lot of times it's not really about, at this point of time, for me, it's not about balance anymore. It's about work-life integration. So how do we integrate, how do I actually integrate my work into my daily life? I think that's a lot more, a different approach to it. So I will not set for example, I work every day, but then I don't work all the time. So I maybe sometimes, now my day's schedule is I work one session in the morning. So maybe from 9 to 12 I work, and then from 12 to 2 I'll go to the gym, and then I'll have grab a quick lunch, 2 to 3-ish. Then I continue working from 4 to 7. Maybe sometimes I'll just do some reading in that time slot. So I just break my time into parts like that. But sometimes if I have to, then I'll do maybe an hour or maybe around an hour at night. So that's just about it. So I got inspired by this. I heard about this from someone, a friend or something, or podcast. I don't remember.
Yeah.
So there's this photographer, his work. Then when he published his work, he actually don't separate his work and his personal work. So he takes pictures of his family, of his travel, and then there's pictures of his professional work. But then he put everything into the same book, into an album. So to him, it's like, okay, I do not separate work and life like that. Everything I do is part of me. So I find that work-life integration thing is something very inspiring. What I'm trying to do is go that direction.
Would you say you're quite similar that this is what you enjoy doing anyways, right?
I'm comfortable doing this. I'm comfortable living this way for now at this point of time.
Was there any point of time you think that, man, I don't want to do this anymore?
I'm already got past that. I think sometimes you have already got past the point that you are not doing this for yourself anymore. There's a lot for people around you. So if I stop doing this, what will happen to
Your team.
the team, the days in and out? You're not just doing for yourself. It's a lot more for everyone else. But when I say that, I don't mean that you have to live for someone else. You have to live for yourself as well. So might as well enjoy doing it. So it's just an in the moment thing.
You say something interesting, not just live for yourself. Why do you think that's important? I think that's a very interesting point you bring up.
Live consciously. That's what I'll do. So you need to be aware of when I do my daily job, when I do my daily work, when I do my daily task, when I do my daily gym, for example, I try to be as conscious as possible. When I say conscious, I mean I am conscious about the things that I do. I know why I do this, what I want to do. So when I work, I am conscious about the work that I'm doing. Why am I doing this? What impact is it going to bring? How is it going to affect the things around me? Because I believe in how the world is how we shape ourselves. How we see the world it is what it is. It is what you see. It is what you react. So everything that you do, there will be like a cause and effect. If you think, it's just like how you react. A very funny incident is like last night there was an accident. There was an incident. My house, there was a rooftop water tank leaking. So,
man.
I go home and then the one area of my house is flooded. Then I have some like wood furniture there, and I was like, my first reaction was like, oh my god. And then I yell out to my wife, oh, come on, help. There is like a flood, it's flooding in the third floor and stuff like that. And then she came out and like, okay, what do you need? Then I was like, okay, just get me a cloth. And then I climb up to the roof myself and I see. Then, that moment I actually thought of something. So when I see the leak pipe, I say it's like just small leak, it's just dripping. But then maybe it has been dripping for a day, then it started leaking to the ground floor. The first thing that comes to my mind is like, I'm lucky that it didn't burst. It's just dripping. Then I still have time to actually get someone to fix it. It's not like entirely flooded. So I think that's how you react. How you react to things is very important. I could have gone very angry, very frustrated. Then I wouldn't be able to sleep, blah, 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 blah. That kind of thought actually came to me at that time. But then, in fact, I was just like, okay, I'm lucky. Can you imagine if like this thing, it completely broke out, then it's going to like flood the entire place. So, I think, so how you see your work, your approach, being conscious about the decisions that you make, being conscious about your emotions, those are all very important to me.
So it's like you when I say consciousness means like you place a lot of attention on how you see things, how you react to things. When something happens, right, a lot of people jump into fixing things, right? Or maybe, so maybe the question I want to ask is like, how important do you think this is, and do you think this is missing in a lot of people's lives, like be able to be conscious? Or why is it people are not like what you are? Because I think a lot of people are not, including myself. Sometimes I something goes bad, I lose my shit, so I can relate to how important it is. But why do you think people don't have this consciousness?
People have, I believe everyone have that kind of consciousness. You just have to tap into it. You just have to be aware of your surroundings, be present. So like for the barista team, for example, it's actually a very important. I mean, barista is a very difficult job. I've been
it's just making coffee only, right?
Whole day, it's like a whole day thing. Like you come into work at 8 o'clock, you finish work at 6 o'clock. So
you're
when
on
you
your
do
foot
that
the whole
day
time.
in and day work, and then when if you work in a busy cafe, it's like very intense. Pop. You have your morning crowd, lunch crowd, evening crowd, and then you have to do opening, you have to do closing, you have to do calibration, you have to attend to your customers, you have to be aware of your emotions and stuff like that. It's actually very, very stressful, and I can resonate with that. I think then that's why I think it's a lot more important for barista, for example, they need to be aware of why they are doing this. So they need to be conscious about the things that they're doing. What are they? Who are they doing this for? Then I'm always like, I don't expect our barista to stay with us for 10 years, 20 years, it's okay. I only assume that you will be with us for 2 years, 4 years, for example. But then you will stay longer, okay lah. But then for that 2 years, my responsibility is to make sure that your experience as a barista here is the best that I can provide. So that's the role of the company. That's the role of us. That's the role of what we can, the stage for you to improve, for you to learn, not just as a barista, but as a person, on how you handle things, how you communicate, how you work with your team, how do you lead, how do you challenge problem. If something issue come up, is there is a situation arise, how do you handle it? So every time there is a review or complaint, the first thing we want to do, like the culture in the company, the first complaint that comes up, we were like, let's review this complaint, no emotions. Is first you need to identify is what the customer says is true. This is the first thing that you need to do. We do F&B, we get a lot of
a lot of complaints and feedback.
Review and stuff. I actually take that very, very seriously. I take that very personally as well. Because I read through every single comment.
Wow.
I get notifications on my email on Google.
And again, that's a great demonstration of how much you care for it. Yeah. And I want to point out something that before we go into complaints, because I think that's a very, very, very nice topic. But it sounds like you're very clear of what everything functions in the company, and like you're clear, and I think stem from your consciousness that how things are supposed to be. Like you decided that the job as the company is to give people, like you say, to give them the biggest improvement they can get as a barista, best experience as a barista. I think this who's that? I think Richard Branson said this, right? He said for Virgin Airlines, he said, you take care of the people take care of your customer, right? And it's definitely showing in that sense. A lot of the things that I've also been able to create in my business came from my experience of being in the hotel industry, where they grew me up to be someone responsible for 600 plus guests rooms, maybe 1,000 plus people in the hotel at any given time. So that really grew me to be extra responsible and think on my feet, critical thinking, right? And if I didn't have the experience, I wouldn't have the success I have today in my business as well. But it seems like you're giving young people this platform that they can come into, just not only learn how to make coffee, but actually develop themselves. And you're very clear about it. And I think that's why I think there's so much to learn. I'm so happy to hear this from you, because I think a lot of businesses could learn from this example as well. Yeah. And it's easier to say they're going to leave lah, then whatever, right? It's easy to say that, right? It's easy to say that, but then cut back on giving, right? Yeah. Are you, one question before we move on to complaints? Are you do you follow someone like Ken Honda or some of these like? Because Ken Honda is one of the guys I read his books and I watch his.
I read actually quite a lot.
Nice.
With all kind of votes.
So the voting for voting all this, right?
Voting. This one was. Let me think. Where did I get that thing from? I think it's from one of the recent books that I've been reading. It's called Brand DNA. It's actually a very good book. I think it's written. I remember it's written by the CMO of Coca-Cola. Is it Coca-Cola? I might get it wrong,
but it's the whole idea about voting for what you love and you want them to do well, right?
Yes. Every time, I mean, as a consumer or as a people, I think nowadays, I think if we were go into brand and marketing, there will be a lot more to talk about.
Yeah.
Shitload. There will be different ages like social, and then your traffic, and then your brand positioning, and then we do read books on branding and then marketing. And then customer experience. Customer experience is a very big thing for us, etc., etc. But coming back, and then for that kind of book, recently I'm reading The Fabric of Reality. I think that's a very good book. Fabric of Reality.
Written by who?
I forgot the name.
Yeah, I want to write this down.
He has two books, Fabric of Reality, and the second book I bought already. I haven't read. So it's something Infinity, but the same author.
Nice.
Theory of Infinity or something like that.
Okay.
But Fabric of Reality is really, really a very strong book. Yeah. The last book that changed me this much was the what do you call that? The Power of Now.
Eckhart Tolle.
Yeah, Eckhart Tolle. He has another book, New World.
New World, yeah. That was my first book from him.
Wow, that's my favorite book.
Your favorite book?
Used to be that.
I wrote the New World first, then only I wrote the Power of Now.
Yeah, exactly. The New World I read it when maybe 10, 12 years ago, but I think that changed a lot about to me.
Oh.
Changed a lot.
What's one thing that really changed for you after reading that book?
I think consciousness is part of it. Being conscious about the world around you, so there's no. Actually, it's a bit more sensitive. It's about like what you believe in, the religion thing. So I think that one actually opened my mind a little bit. So
You need to be aware of your beliefs.
yes,
be aware
yes,
of your
yes.
biases,
yes,
beliefs.
yes. This
I
kind of
see,
thing.
I see.
This book is nice. It's one of my favorite too.
Oh, we seem to have a common thing that we like. We like books, right? And you know what? Coffee and book always go together for me.
Yeah,
Right?
I
Brewing a
actually,
nice cup of coffee and then
Yeah.
reading a book. That's
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
like
yeah.
both together, yeah.
I love to dedicate some
Yeah.
of my mornings to that. It's like
Same,
a
same.
morning routine.
Anyways, since since you want to get to
we
some
drift a
juicy
bit far
part,
already.
no, that's a good conversation, right? But I want to talk about this before we move on to our last part, which is feedback and complaints.
Okay.
I used to do this because I used to be a training manager for I was in charge of training. So I always have a lot of feedback from customer complaints. We read through all of them and we try to do like what you guys do. I'm so impressed that you guys are a smaller operation than a 5-star international chain, but you guys still review your complaints and feedbacks.
Actually, I don't see complaints and complaints. I see complaints and feedback on what we do. I always have the point of view where if we have one feedback like this, there is possibly or very probable there are more than 100 people that have the
didn't
same
say it, right?
experience, but they just didn't say it out. So I respect and I'm very, very grateful for this specific or particular person that actually came out and tell that.
And not only looking for the good feedback, right?
So that no good feedback, not good feedback. Just anything, any suggestions, any feedback, your experience. It's all very, very helpful for us as a business to improve. Sometimes we run out of things to do. Feedbacks are our one of the if this happened, we have to review. Now our day to day in the team is like we have a lot of reviews, we have a lot of audits, we have a lot of brainstorm. So it's like different sessions. So because over time you build your systems, right? You build your framework, then and then you go like we got this feedback, we got this.
What's your craziest feedback? One of the craziest sort of story that you
craziest story?
Yeah.
I don't really remember a lot of those crazy ones because every time we get one, we attend to it and I forget about it.
Any one of them stood out in your mind? Like a funny story.
The last one star that we got, the comment was sorry, the ones that I got, this place got no parking, don't come. Then he didn't even go in and eat. It's just like
he didn't even go in.
And the funny thing is he's at Link in the mall. The mall got no parking. You give me 1 star. Why? Why do that to us? It's difficult for small businesses when you have like that kind of. I was like, we let it go. But this one I didn't let it go.
So I got one last part I wanted to ask you before we go into our final thing is. When you guys started as a coffee shop only, right? Means you only focus on coffee, correct? What made you decide to go into the food part? Because there's a whole bunch of headache you bring together, right? So back 10 years ago, you guys only do coffee, right? Just straight up coffee.
Yes.
So what made you decided that?
Coming back to the word naive,
So how was it like?
We were so ambitious that we thought, we do coffee, we do coffee good. Then we want to do food as well. Then we want the food to be as good, So it has to be like coffee I do 10, then food I have to do 11, and at least 10. So we start with a kitchen. But then partly it's also because of the landscape in Malaysia, the cafe scene. So you need to go, coffee and food, they have to be in the same place. And then we have such a big space, so try not to waste it. And then when we first started the kitchen, there's so many stories. We have so many iterations. Like I think our kitchen menu now is like version 8.0 or something.
Wow. Yeah, you're right. I noticed that in other countries, like say, even in Japan's like coffee shop, they only serve coffee. They won't even sometimes serve bagels or whatever. But in Australia, you see like a lot of good coffee shops. They don't serve a lot of food. They serve you like bakery, pastries and bakery, but they are quite focused on coffee. Whereas in Malaysia, the people have an expectation that if I have coffee, I want to have food, right?
differences in lifestyle and culture.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. Like, if you travel to Seoul, for example, it's a very dense city,
Yeah.
so everything is just next to each other. I can have coffee here, walk 2 steps next door, and then I can have food there, for example, or the other way around.
You can drink,
food there,
right?
yeah, and then I can have another 2 steps. I have beer down the road. So it's like everything is clumped together. But then in Malaysia, no,
All in
no,
one,
no,
right?
no, no, yeah, unless you go to mall.
So, how's your that transition? You guys must have felt really good. Okay, my coffee business. Okay, then when you transition to food, right?
Ayo, disastrous, man.
How was your first menu like?
Disastrous.
I'm not talking about menus because
Disastrous.
how menus are created is
So we have a friend. He's also the guy that inspired me to good food.
okay.
So I can elaborate a bit about him later. But then coming back, this menu was designed by him. So he has experience working in the US in Michelin restaurants.
Wow.
So very big idea on the menu and stuff. So we only did 5 items. Then we have like very fancy menu. And then we thought we want to do like casual, fine, good, nice food at affordable price. But then when it turns out to operation for one menu might take 10-20 minutes.
So
Then
what
with
is
our
the-
scale? It was like, wow, people might have to wait 2 hours for a menu. Wow, that was-
Serious?
oh my god! How could this happen? How could we? I mean,
So how was it like for you standing at the?
we were naive, ma. We don't know.
So what you guys did? What was the difficult part of the menu?
We never thought of that. There's a lot of prep. It is a very detailed menu. So maybe first you have to fry first, and then you have to steam. And there's a lot of processes.
Don't tell me it's big breakfast.
No, not that kind of menu when we first started.
Okay.
It's later. I think that was the first menu, and then we have a local. I mean, we work together with a local chef team as well. Then we did some changes to the menu. That's like second iteration, and then we hired a British chef. I think that's also one of the turning point for us in our food menu, because he is the person. He's the one that introduced salmon on toast, egg benedicts, big breakfast, that kind of menu into Bean Brothers. So after that, then we have our current chef. I think there's another generation first, and then only our current chef, Chef Jen. I think he is really, really good at what he do. So far for the past 4, 5, 6 years, the menu is all done single-handed by him. So we design,
Nice.
we iterate, we review every year, we make changes, we collect feedbacks. Internally, every year I send out forms to the entire company. So there will be a list of questions. Then there will be questions like, so in your experience from your interaction with the customers, what are the menu that people genuinely love? Or what are the menu that you think is popular and people enjoy a lot? So I think, then I asked, we also asked the team, like, so what are the menu that you think shouldn't appear here? That kind of questions.
Wow.
So we do that kind of feedback, we collect, we review.
You
and
collect
then
from
we-
internally.
Internally.
And you check your sales bills also, right? Like how many.
The data is also another thing. I think for a company, data is very, very important. First, you need to identify where to collect data. If the data collected is accurate, and then number 3 again, is it important? And number 4 is your data actionable. So there's no point collecting data that you can't do anything about.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So you need to have the whole framework and system set up.
And that
around
all
this one.
goes behind how you guys design the menu, right?
It helps.
To improve the.
It helps. Yes, it definitely improves. So that's there's a lot of.
If there's one advice you would give to any potential restaurateur, right?
your
About
best.
food. Okay, what is the first thing you would recommend when it comes to designing menus? Because menus, and for my when I studied, it has a very high potential that can destroy a company if you have a very poorly formed menu, right? Like I don't like companies that have like 30 food, and 30 different kind of cuisine, different kind of meats, because there's a lot of like stale things going on. So what is so my advice usually would be like try to focus on cost control, but also delivering very good quality. But what would be advice to say someone who's new? I'm not a restaurateur.
This is just my opinion. Unless you are an owner chef,
Unless you are an owner chef.
get a good chef. Trust your chef. Communicate a lot. Keep talking. Try that. That's actually, I think that's the only advice, or if I would give to myself. That's the advice I would give to myself. Trust your team. I think they know what's going on in the kitchen. You don't.
I see.
Unless you're an owner chef.
Owner chef yourself.
Yeah.
And you told me that both your outlets got different chef and let them do some.
It used to be that, but then now we have one to unify.
I
the menu.
see,
I
I
think we are
see.
moving, trying to like pivot a little bit on so that we can do more things.
But
So
trusting the
that's
team
idea.
is very inspiring. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, I feel like it's an ownership, right? You let them let them own the whole thing. It's really powerful.
Try not to, yeah, I try not to interfere too much. Even in the kitchen, there's a lot of things.
Yeah,
There's too much. So
it's a war zone.
Yeah.
You can hear it
just,
downstairs lunchtime. It's a war zone.
to me, I just set a boundary. There's the line that we both agreed that you must not cross. So like I don't tolerate violence. I don't tolerate like talking down. I don't tolerate all this kind of. I think this kind of thing you can. This kind of thing you have to work with your chef.
Got
together.
it.
So there are things that you said, but then on how they work, how you train, how you cook your egg, you don't. Yeah, just leave it to them. Leave it to the professionals. It's very important. No,
I like that. That's very good. Anyways, we have a lot of conversation. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you guys enjoy it. We have a last bonus session later on, so please stay on for this. But I want to first acknowledge you because I think I met you. We met a little bit, but what I really get from this conversation, you're very inspiring because, not only you made my hypothesis true, which is you need someone to care about a restaurant to have it be good. But I learned so much about how you treat people around you and how your philosophies come to life in your work. And definitely can taste it in the food, can taste it in the coffee, and the amazing team that you have. Like I always interact with Ben and KK and even the ladies downstairs. I really feel like it's a kind of place that doesn't boast a lot of like Instagrammable. I mean, although it's quite Instagrammable, but I really feel now that I've got to know you better, I can see your philosophies coming to life. So thank you for being so inspirational.
Thank you for having me. I really
sharing.
enjoyed like talking to
Yeah.
passionate people. I can
More
I can
coffee in the
feel
future
that.
together. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. So thank you for being for demonstrating that
Thank you for
it's
having
important
us.
to care, right? And thank you for creating a good F&B outlet, and thank you for being my bean supplier.
Okay.
All right, so we've got another session now. What we're going to do now is we're going to invite another gentleman, KK. I met KK. I'm going to bring him later on. And I met KK through an event called Luftwasser. It was a Porsche event. And for some or other, we just clicked because of our love of coffees and our viewpoint of life. And that's how we got to know Keith. And what we're going to do now is a final test because coffee is more than just a bitter source of caffeine, right? And I want to also showcase there are much more things than just coffee being caffeine. And this is not a test for them. This is more of, I'm going to do a blind test for them in the sense that I want them to be able to describe what flavors come out and maybe let them guess. They have no idea what they're going to drink, okay? All you're going to know is coffee, right?
Okay.
But we have no idea. I'll reveal it as we go, right? So it's going to be a little bit fun. And Bean Brothers has something called First Pour Club.
First Pour Club, yes.
And it's every Saturday, as for now. Maybe you watch in the future, it's not. And they allow you to test 8 different cups of coffee, and then you have 1 cup in the end. It's an amazing experience. I haven't been through it, but just describing it, reading about it, I know that it's a great experience. So if you want to explore more about coffee, just like how naively Keith and I got exposed to coffee, please, I'll put a link in the description below for you guys to get sign up to one of it. It's incredibly affordable, and I think the best part of this is it's being run by passionate people around coffee. And I promise you, for those of you who never tasted different types of coffee, it's going to blow your mind what coffee could possibly be. And for those of you who are already tasting coffee, try something different. And for those of you who already know what you think is good coffee, you will enjoy it even more. You will appreciate coffee even more. But the one thing I will end with this is that one thing I noticed to sum up my interaction with you is this. Whatever you appreciate appreciates. And I think the company grown to where it is today because you appreciate the people, the job that you do, and also what the company is. You appreciate all of this, so everything appreciates as well. So thank you, man.
People around
and I appreciate you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right, without further ado, let's go to the next section.
Okay,
All right.
let's do this.
All right, guys. This is the first time I'm going to do something like this. So here's KK, which we connected through coffee. And now I remember the last time I met him, I brought some beans from Japan. And then we were just, we had a few shots. I mean, even did a piccolo latte. And we were all laughing and going wow and wow. Like it sounds, if I were to take a third point of view, it looks like we're all drunk, right? But drunk on caffeine. Yeah, so since then our conversations grew. And so we're going to do something a bit more fun because I also love coffee. I'm going to bring out
I think 4 different cups of coffee, and let's see what they think about it, right? So they have no idea what they're drinking, right?
It's a coffee appreciation session.
Yeah. So this is Thomas's version of a first pour club. Okay, so this is the first one. It's a bit not that as warm anymore, and
Oh, it smells.
thank you. Yeah,
Strong.
I want you guys to see that there's more to coffee than just a caffeine drink. All right, so enjoy the first cup.
Cheers.
Cheers. I think it cooled down a bit. Right? Okay, the thing about coffee is this, right? Everything changes from the harvesting to the processing, whether it's washed, whether it's anaerobic, to where it comes from, to the grind size, to the brewing, to serving. Everything can change. So first of all, what do you think? This is espresso or is it filter?
Filter, definitely.
Filter, right?
Yeah.
So, what's your rating on this coffee?
Out
Out of 10.
of 10. 5?
5. Okay, great.
Okay, since you mentioned 5, I don't want to stray too far away from it, but I don't want to give it too low. I think you brewed it well.
Yeah.
I think you brewed it well.
How do you know I brewed?
It's brewed well. Oh, you didn't? Or maybe it's a machine brew.
Yeah.
That's why it's so consistent. I think it has good body, slimy, and then the aroma is actually okay. So I think the body is really something. It's very slimy, thick, and then but when it's slimy and thick, it's not strong. Acidity is still present, and then I still get a bit of herbs, a bit of nutty caramel kind of flavor of it. Overall, it's okay. But maybe it's a bit strong to some of us.
Some people, maybe run more water through, right?
Yeah. Maybe slightly more water, or your brew improve your. A slightly more brew ratio.
Yeah. How you know it's me?
It could be a machine brew then. It did.
It tastes like a machine brew, right? Okay.
It does taste like a machine brew.
What do you think, okay?
I agree. I think it's brewed well, extracted well. I think you do get a lot of the more brown notes. Maybe to me, a bit of roasted cinnamon, but then there is also slightly of the green, herby notes, spices notes.
Okay. Yeah. So you guys see, it's more than just bitter. There's a lot of other things that can come up in the coffee, right? I'll review to you later on, right? What is okay? Come, let's get the next cup. Next one.
Thank you.
Okay. Next one.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Wow, this one. Wait, do this? I know what is this?
I want to have a little bit of fun. So what's this? What do you think? What do you think about this coffee?
I think
The good things about the coffee.
the good things
about
about
the coffee. Yeah.
I'm gonna clench my palate and try.
No, if it's bad, just say it. Don't worry. Right? This whole part about is let's have some fun, right? Let's have some fun. Think of it that the camera is not there. We're just a couple of friends, and Thomas trying to prank you guys actually, right?
I think it's a more simpler, singular profile coffee. So you don't get a lot of the different notes to it, but you get a more prominent, single, slightly more perhaps medium dark roasted kind of coffee. Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah.
Okay. If it's not nice, just say it. Don't worry.
No, I think there are times where you enjoy like a coffee that's a lot more complex. Then there are sometimes where you want something that is maybe simpler, something that you can drink every day. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely a medium dark roast coffee.
Yep.
Then again, I think you brew it pretty okay. It's not that.
All you
know
is me.
It could be machine. Yeah, again. It's pretty consistent. In fact, I like the body of the coffee. The body, in fact, is okay. I mean, it's not dry. It has a smooth aftertaste. I don't like. It's not to say I don't like. I think it's of a different preference. I know for sure there will be some people that appreciate this kind of coffee because it has some kind of kick at the end. So it's like very smoky. The smoky, dark, roasted, toasty kind of note to it. But then it doesn't have any acidity present. So it's almost 0 to none.
Would you pay 10 ringgit for this one or the other one? Neither.
I mean, I'm okay with the other one. I'm okay with the other one. I'm okay with the other
And
one.
we are lucky.
I'm okay
Usually
with
we
the
just come to coffee. We can't come to the store and we get people to brew
Yeah.
for us. Yeah, so we are pretty lucky in that sense.
Okay, I review to all of you. Okay, what's this? The first one actually is brewed by me. Okay, it's actually a Chemex, and then I brew a. But I'm not very good at filter coffee. I'm actually I use more. I mean, I don't really play with filter coffee a lot. So that's my iteration of filter coffee, and the mistake I made was to pour too little water in it as well. Yeah, I could have run more water through it, and I didn't. I purposely make a mistake I used to do last time. So I purposely poured like almost 60-70 grams less of water that I usually use. So I did it by purpose because I want people to know that there is certain techniques and certain things to pay attention to. So if you're an amateur, like what I did, an amateur mistake, then it will certainly ruin what would be a very, very nice. Do you mind if you pass that white color back over here? That's the beans.
Oh, nice.
So these are the beans, right? So you remember these beans? You smell it earlier? So these are the beans I actually used, which is a pretty okay bean, I mean, pretty good beans actually. And the difference I noticed as I started to learn, I could extract better and better. So it's more than just someone pouring coffee for you in a coffee shop, right? So I purposely made the mistake so you get. The second one, however, is not made by me. It's something that you pay more than 10 ringgit at a coffee shop that's a chain.
Yeah.
Right, I wouldn't say which brand, right? It's a chain, right? And I only go there if I in a deep need for caffeine, right?
They have a signature taste to it.
Yeah.
Yes, right. There's a signature taste to it, right? Yeah, and you're right. I think there's always a very caffeine smoky kick in the end. Yeah, and I think there's nothing wrong with that coffee shop in the sense where I think sometimes when you run big chains, you need to be consistent, so you have to be
Correct.
you know, like that what to do, right? Yeah. So did you knew that it was a
Yeah, when I see the color.
okay, do you see that?
Yeah. It's the signature.
Signature, yeah. And then KK was like pushing the cup away already. Okay, now let's get a third cup over here. Right, this is the cup. Okay, so not all made by me one. Okay. Cheers.
Oh, cheers.
KK, what's this?
This
How's the
is definitely something more funky, something slightly more exotic. I would say it's either something that is processed maybe anaerobically, or it's from a farm that is well known for funky flavor. Yeah. I think.
Oh, we had this, no?
Had this?
we didn't.
Do you think I brew this,
Somehow.
or is it brewed from a machine or something? Okay.
No, this one is difficult to tell because I feel this coffee is a slightly more exotic kind of coffee. It has like damn prominent aroma that when I taste it, it's like eating bubble gum. Then it has this aftertaste, the acidity actually bites, but then it's not dry. Then pretty good body as well. It could be something good to experience, but to me maybe not something that to drink every day. This is my experience about.
So would you rate this as a uncommon coffee or?
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely something that you can't find all the time.
And these are the kind of coffees that you think is worth serving, worth drinking.
For experience.
Yeah.
For experience, you
experience,
definitely have to try something different. So it's like all coffee. I mean, if I were to like give an experience to differentiate about the coffee, this would be a very good benchmark. So coffee can be this different. It can be like normally coffee is around this range. This coffee could be like something here.
Conversation.
Yeah, then you can compare.
Yeah.
So what's the notes that really stand out for you?
I think definitely you get the bubblegum.
Bubblegum, yeah.
And I think you do get, for me, slightly more berry. Then towards the end, there is still like the slight brown, maybe a little bit of brown notes to it.
Okay. Cool. Yes, sir.
Bubblegum, strawberry,
It's nice.
very very obvious.
Nice.
And, some acidity to it. And sweet is definitely sweet because when it's so sweet, the body becomes very slimy. It can be sticky to a point. So yeah, that's an attribute. So attribute whether you like it personally or not is really up to you.
I got it.
Yeah, again, it's good experience.
Would you pay money for that coffee? Because I know you're very picky. You're like.
I would.
You would?
I would.
You would?
I would. Yeah,
You would?
definitely. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Oh, let's get the last one over here, right? Okay, last one,
Oh, thank you.
right?
Oh, this one looks legit.
Looks legit, right?
This one looks legit. Is this the same coffee?
Yeah.
It's the same coffee beans.
Okay, it's brewed differently.
Yeah.
Yep. See, guys, these guys are masters. So, you ready to review? You know what bean is this, right?
The Omnigon?
Yes, it's Omnigon. You guys are. Can I get the Omnigon over? So this is the beans that KK.
Oh, it's our bean.
Yeah.
What lucky man.
So this is the bean that KK posted on his Instagram, and I'm like, man, I want to taste this, right? So this is my favorite single origin so far from Bean Brothers.
But this one, when it's brewed properly, it toned down the. Oh, now that I know it's our coffee. Different tone now.
Brewed by Ben, right? So this one is brewed by Ben, right? And the other one I brew myself. And I do it deliberately because, again, same beans, same from the same literal bag, but done by two different person. And I won't say I have a. You think a Rocket Apartamento is a pretty okay machine? I got Eureka,
Setup, yeah.
right? And you fair to say that I have a pretty okay setup, right?
Yeah, very good setup, yeah.
But yet the difference in taste is very big, isn't it? Right?
Yeah.
Now with one thing, the difference is I like my coffee like almost espresso, so I like the stickiness, right? So I deliberately want the stickiness in my mouth. That after I drink my coffee, after the next half an hour, I can still sort of taste it in my mouth. Yeah. So sometimes I like that. So I did it to my preference, but I also know that there's a skill lacking there for sure, right? So
Actually, if that's your preference, I think it's done pretty well.
It's good.
It is what you want, and then you did it, and then it's what you. It's actually the kind of what you describe.
Yeah.
I can feel it. And I can taste it. I know the intention. If your intention is like that, I think good.
yeah, I'm like when I met KK, we always talk about how much I like acidic, funky coffee and stuff, right? So I also deliberately try to get as much funkiness out as possible, right? So I'm trying to extract that funkiness, right? But of course, it didn't sort of hit all the notes that's supposed to be here, like cherry liquor, you know. But yeah. I mean, I just want to see that there is more than just buying a bag of coffee and chuck it in the machine, grind it, and serve it. There's actually skills. We have to be present to what's coming out, what colors coming out, what's the heat, what's the water source. More to it than just coffee.
Fun, a lot more fun.
Yeah,
This-
a lot more fun.
Yeah, it's really fun if you can brew coffee if you can brew the coffee that you like yourself, you get to control, try to be in control. Like, I think it's similar to cooking. You can cook to your own taste. Coffee is the same. You can brew to your own taste. There's something.
But there is something I want to show. There's a discrepancy in skills, right? I'm not saying I'm very lousy. I'm not deliberately myself lousy. I just want people to know that when you go to a coffee shop, appreciate. I want to give more appreciation to the barista. Right, that's what I want to do in this session.
Good. Great.
Good. What we talked about earlier, okay? So KK, thank you so much for sharing your passion for coffee as well with me.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you, Keith, for today's show. I want to give you a little gift before we go. I bought some gift from Japan. This is 50 grams only, but I think it's probably one of the most expensive beans I bought, right?
Wow.
And this one I really enjoyed it in Japan, and they did it for me in the espresso shot, and it left me almost like wow. Like,
So that moment thing.
another moment, like again, it elaborated for me.
nice.
So this one is for you guys.
Thank you.
Right?
Thank you. Oh,
It's Ethiopian.
nice.
We can try it together.
Yeah.
Let's have it.
Yeah, let's have it together.
Yeah.
Holding menstruation. Geisha. Who?
Yeah. Geisha beans. Yeah.
Sian Geisha.
Right, guys, so we'll come to the end of this session, and if you guys want to get, now this is only Thomas' first pour club, so you never get this. Anyway, you sneak a big chain coffee in here, but maybe KK, can you share more about what our first pour club is?
So essentially, First Pour Club, it happens every Saturday, 11 a.m. at our PJ outlet. It's just a very friendly, casual experience for everyone that enjoys coffee. So if you are someone that drinks coffee every day, or if you don't drink every day, you don't drink coffee at all, I hope it will still be a very enjoyable experience for you. So essentially, you will get to try a few different types of coffee, and then according to your preference, we'll brew you 1 cup according to whichever method you prefer.
We'll put the link in the description below for you to discover that. And do you want to give a preview on what's coming up too on Bean Brothers?
Bean Brothers.
the supper club, right?
Oh, recently we've been working on a lot of things. Like I think this is the season also that we are reviewing our food menu and all. So for the food menu, I mean, our chef Jen, he has a lot of great ideas that I want to execute.
Can't
so
wait.
sometimes that we have certain menus that we think, oh, this menu is too good, and then maybe it's not suitable to put here or put there. So we're having an idea or thought that maybe we can do some kind of supper club, similar to First Ball Club, because we've been running First Ball Club for a couple of months now. So I think that the response is good. The community that we're building, the things that we're sharing, I actually enjoy the passion that comes from the team and the people and everyone around us. So maybe we can do the same with the food that we are doing, with the passion that our chefs have. So there are many things that they want to share. So maybe we want to share it through the dinner supper club. So it is probably going to come out very soon. So if you see it, like feel free to like just connect with us, and yeah, you are all invited.
And you can find you at Bean Brothers website.
It's definitely going to be in our IG and socials.
Cool, right? So follow them on IG, right? First Ball Club. Highly recommend. Even if you're not a coffee lover, just come explore the world of coffee. Be naive, And yeah, thank you so much for your time, both of you.
Thank you.
And it was really fun. I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Right?
We learned a lot too.
Sorry to torture you with a few coffees. Right, with that, guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Let us know in the comments below. What do you get out of it? And if you want to find out more about Bean Brothers, check them out. Highly recommend the food. Highly recommend the coffee. They have 4 outlets. PJ, one in Ning KL, right?
Yeah.
Then you have
the Star Hill.
Star Hill.
Opposite Berlin, that's our espresso bar.
Okay.
Try that one. That one has many signature espresso drink.
Ah.
There's a new tone, is a new iteration as well. And then we have one in near KLCC, the Maxis. So this is like a fast go coffee.
No food, just coffee.
No food, just coffee. That one is just coffee.
So the food is KL and PJ,
Yeah, PJ,
and Ning
yes.
KL, and the 2 are the coffee
Yes,
coffee
and
bar.
then the Star Hill one is the espresso bar.
Got it.
And then the PJ one.
And you can get your beans through them as well, right? They're my main bean suppliers as well. So they do their usual velvet white, which my favorite is. The other one is the black suit, right?
Black suit, yeah.
Black suit. And then you also have seasonal beans coming in now.
Every month, different single origin beans.
Yeah.
If you buy beans, 1 year you will have tasted at least 36 different beans.
Wow, is it a subscription?
Yes, you can subscribe as well.
Fantastic. All right, guys. So anything you want to share with the audience before we end?
No, I think we're all good.
Oh, good. All right. Thanks for watching, guys, and keep it 100. Love you guys. Peace out. If you're looking for a way to increase your income and looking for different business to do, I know what most of you are thinking. It's a lot of risk, it's a lot of capital involved. I don't know what to do. And that's why I created Team Infinity Academy, where we not only provide a way for people to get into the business world without forking a lot of capital, but we also provide the education and the vehicle. We have a way that I use to make my money, right? This is the business I run. And I want to teach people how to utilize my business to build a life of their dreams. Now, if you're interested to find out more, there is a preview. We're looking for the right business partners. And inside that business discovery session, you'll find out how this business can support you to build the life that you want to live. If you're interested to find out more, link in the description below. And sign up for one of our webinars. Will be mostly hosted by myself. See you there.